What's up, everybody? Once again, welcome to the latest episode of the Popaholics Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts here, Franklin F.M. McInnes, and of course, I have my fellow co-host here with me, Collecting Plastic.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
At this point, the FunCon reveals are done, as far as we know, but there have been a few conventions in the past where we saw like some last-minute things. I don't know if that's going to happen this time, though, to be honest. But so I'm just going to say at this point, I think we've pretty much seen the FunCon reveal. So what we want to do with this podcast is to focus on our maybes, pops that we might try to pick up from the convention. We're going to focus on our main wants and then those long shots as well, because we know there's going to be, some figures that are going to be very difficult to get, especially if we're not lottery winners. And at this point, we don't know, so we'll see what happens with that. But Collecting Plastic, I'm actually going to leave it up to you first to start off focusing on your maybes here.
Okay, so I've never been a lottery winner before. I've never gotten lucky with it, but I've been lucky enough to get what I want. But my maybes for me are going to be the Cap Wolf, mostly because it's Amazon and they're pretty random. Sometimes Amazon, will put their convention exclusives up for like pre-order or whatever a week before and or after, or just a very random time. They don't seem to be in step with everybody else. So I'm considering it a maybe because I'm not going to be stressing out checking social media 24/7 to get this guy. And if I miss out on him, I don't see myself shelling out, more than 30, $40 for him on the secondhand market, or even double the price for it regularly. So if I miss it, I miss it. So to me, it's a maybe. And Mubi the Golden Calf, I really love Dogma, but it appears this is going to be in a Jay and Silent Bob box, which to me, I associate Mubi the Golden Calf with Dogma. And I kind of don't like the new Jay and Silent Bobs. I wish they were like either black and white Clerks Jay and Silent Bob or something like that. I wasn't a big fan of the movie, the actual Jay and Silent Bob movie. So I don't want these pops in Jay and Silent Bob boxes. I know that's a little weird, but yeah, to me, movie is a maybe.
Yeah, I get that because there's been a couple of times where the box just didn't seem to really match up with the figure. Like I know there's been some DC characters that were basically placed like in a Batman box, and it's like, why? Like it's
yeah, that's right. I remember that. That was weird, and I didn't even like the artwork on the box. I think it had like the big yellow and black Batman symbol. It looked weird.
I want to say it was Deadman. I think Deadman is in a Batman box for some reason. If I'm not mistaken, it is weird. Like sometimes they don't match up, and yeah, like you said, that may not matter to some collectors, but it can be a little bit aggravating to see that.
Yeah, to me the packaging matters. But I say maybe though because I think once the Conde hits, and if Mubi is still available, when I'm trying to check out, I probably will add it because I do like it. I like that movie. I think the Mubi idea, I think it's kind of funny. The Golden Calf, kind of like a Disney character / McDonald's mascot kind of deal. It's it's a little on the nose, but I think it's clever, and I do have fond memories of that movie. So it's a maybe, but will I go on the secondhand market and pay extra for it? Probably not.
I will say too before we move on here that I watched your video where you went into some details about the design of this particular figure, and for those of you that have not checked those videos out yet, Collecting Plastic has a couple of videos up about the like day by day FunCon reveals, and I just did two separate videos. I did the day one and then basically the wrap up of the reveals. So yeah, make sure you check those out if you've not done so already. Also, like if you're looking for information about the convention, like the dates and all that type of thing, check those videos out. This podcast is really focusing on what we want from the con.
Yeah, thanks for that, man.
Yeah. And so I was a little bit surprised to see Mubi as a maybe for you, but listening to your rationale behind it, I definitely do understand that.
Although, like you say, like talking about the design, though, I do like that they did the thumbs up and the pointing finger, like the Buddy Christ from Dogma, which makes me want it to be in a Dogma box even more, Yeah,
one thing that they did is very subtle here, but I really like it is with his eyes. You know how it almost looks like there's like a reflection of light in his eyes. I appreciate that. There are some pops. I know that the big black eyes, that's a common staple of the pops, but sometimes it would be better if they did a little something else, with the eyes. for certain characters, and I just think that makes this pop look cooler, basically.
Yeah, I like it. You know, it's like the old kind of Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Yeah,
I love that.
exactly. As far as my maybes are concerned, I just don't know if the Suicide Squad movie is going to be good, to be real. Like, I mean, there's been like 3 trailers and then another preview on top of that. And now they have like these little individual like character previews and whatnot. And I still can't tell. Like, I'm a little bit worried about the humor because some of the humor seems very juvenile and not, I mean, juvenile humor can be funny. It's not really seeming funny right now, though. And then, I mean, obviously, a lot of the characters are going to be killed off. So I'd hate to like invest in the pop and for a character that ends up being in the movie for like 2 seconds or something like that, So with TDK, I just don't know. Right now, for me, the design doesn't do a lot for me. So it would have to be that I really enjoy the character in the movie, which unfortunately, the pops I think is going to be out before then, or they're right at the same time. Actually, now that I think about it, because I think the Suicide Squad releases August 5th. I just realized that that's the same day as the big shopping day for the general public. So that's going to be interesting, I guess. But
is it just me, or does the TDK pop, the little design on his forehead, does that not look like a bottle opener to you?
What it looks like for me, well, I get what you're saying. For me, though, and I don't know if this is why he has it in the movie, but because I was in the army, like there's a certain like harness that we would wear on our helmet where we could put our night vision goggles.
Ah, that's what it is. That's gotta be what it is.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And this is like like a military mission they're on. So maybe that's what it is for him. But yeah, like I said, I gotta see the character in action before I decide if I really like him. The pop itself doesn't do a lot for me.
So you want to hear conspiracy?
Go ahead.
So, putting my conspiracy tin hat foil hat on. The first time a lot of people with the Suicide Squad pops, me included, got really excited about those trailers. The movie looked awesome. We bought every single pop, like 20 of them or however many there were. It's a lot of money when you think about it. Do you think maybe Funko put this one in the summer convention, which releases before, the same day, but, before a lot of people watch the movie? You buy this one because, it's summer convention. You don't want to miss out on it. What if I like the movie or whatever? Or even if you don't, you buy it. So you start the collection, right? You start that Suicide Squad collection. And then maybe it's a good way to get people to collect that series where they wouldn't have because you already have one.
With the original Suicide Squad movie, I don't feel like they really did collectors dirty, just because now if they had made one of Adam Beach's character, I can't remember the character's name, but that character was barely in the movie.
The guy that was not anything.
Yeah, he was so barely in the movie that they didn't even have him in the actual prison. He just suddenly showed up. Like, it was so weird. It's like he must have came in just for a day or something. But if they had done a pop with him, I would have said that's pretty dirty. So I'm hoping that with the Suicide Squad, that the characters they've made pops of, maybe this is because I think there's 2 separate teams in the movie. So maybe we are getting the main team as pops. And you notice there's a lot of characters they have not done yet. Maybe it's because they're barely in the movie. So hopefully Funko is, doing it that way. So, and I feel like with Nathan, this character is played by Nathan Fillion, who has a big, like nerds love him basically. He has a big following. So I would hope that he's significant enough in the movie. We'll see what happens with him.
I mean, to me, it's funny. A guy that can like detach his arm and like beat people with it, like that's funny to me. Like I have faith in James Gunn. Like I can confidently say that I feel like this Suicide Squad is going to be better than the original. Just
that
because I
have faith.
Much. I have, yeah, I know, right? But I have faith in James Gunn that it's going to be like I think his humor hits me, and I think when he is serious and he has heartfelt moments like he did in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, especially the second one, like it speaks to me. Like I have faith in him.
Yeah, dude, like there's I think that's something that's tough to come across in the trailers. I think he is going to have some emotional moments because, man, that now that you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is probably as emotional as Endgame to me personally. It has some really heavy moments and some moments that I just didn't expect, basically. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with it though, and Yeah, I just don't. It's going to be one of those on the day things. I'll decide whether or not I go for him. He's going to be shared with Hot Topic, so not exactly difficult to get, in my opinion. Um, Doctor Fate, I had to go back and look at his original design, and I'm like, okay, Funko did him accurately. Still, though, I prefer the more modern look for Doctor Fate, so that's why I'm just like kind of iffy on that one. And to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about the character. Even though I like DC and I have seen him in animation, even in animation, he usually has played a pretty small role. So, yeah, I'm just not so sure about him. Again, that's like on the day I'll decide, basically. Now, to my other maybes here, they could be considered long shots, but the reason I had them as maybes is because even if I have the opportunity, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like Danger Mouse really fits my collection. I think he's an awesome looking pop, but like I don't even know where I would put him in my collection. He just doesn't quite fit. And the Russo brothers, very awesome again that they're actually doing them. But for me, it's a lot about design. It's not just about value and things like that. And I mean, if you take them out of the box, like and you look at the image here of them, it just looks like two dudes. And they really
they
need
look
to
like
be in
pop
the
myself
box.
pops. Like they
Yeah,
look like just pop myself pops of just regular people. And isn't the guy with the glasses like a foot taller than the other one? He looks
uh,
shorter.
I'm not sure. I don't think I've really seen them too much actually standing side by side. For some reason, I usually see them sitting and like I guess doing interviews and whatnot.
I'm pretty sure
So
one of them is way taller than the other.
hmm, could be, yeah. And honestly, the one on the right to me, like if somebody said, "Oh, here's a pop of Mark Ruffalo," I'd be like, "Oh, cool."
Dude, I was just about to say Bruce Banner.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, they're awesome, in a way, but like I just feel like somebody else would appreciate them more. And I try to keep myself in check when it comes to conventions and not just go for something just because of the value. And there has been times in the past where like I did win the lottery once, and I definitely went for the high value ones. One of the figures though, I tried to trade it to a friend, and I don't. He just didn't go for it for whatever reason. So I eventually sold it off. And then there was another one that the more I looked at it in my collection, I didn't like the design. It really came down to design, so it wasn't a keeper for me, even though it's high value. I don't really collect for value. It's really about design for me. So if I don't end up getting the Russos, at least I'll think in my mind, okay, maybe it's going to somebody that appreciates it more, or who knows, maybe it's going to somebody that's just gonna flip it. Can't control that. But yeah, that's why those are maybes for me.
And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the pieces on those Russo brothers were reused molds from other things.
Yeah,
Um,
wouldn't surprise me either.
Kind of like how I think they actually did that with James Gunn. I think his head and his body were from two different pops that they put together. I think it was James Gunn.
Especially the body of the brother on the right, it looks familiar. I can't completely place it, but it does look kind of familiar. I feel like we've seen that before, one hand in the pocket type pose.
Yeah, it really does. Like I think it looks like I want to say the Tony Stark with the cat.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those. Yeah. And these guys, I mean, I'm not putting them down. They look how they look. But I say this all the time to people that there are certain like real people and even some characters on TV shows. If they're not like fantastical or whatever, if they're just regular people, they end up looking kind of plain.
Yeah, they're not
And these
toyetic.
yeah, and with the other directors, like Taika Waititi, his pop stands out because of what he was wearing. That was a crazy outfit that he
Yeah.
was wearing, the like pink shirt and shorts or whatever. And then James Wan is very distinctive mainly because of his hair. Spike Lee's very distinctive because of what he wears. So yeah, it's just some people just end up looking kind of plain. Like if they did a pop of Quentin Tarantino, big chance for it to end up looking kind of plain, basically.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that would look like. It would just be him in like a t-shirt, and yeah, it would be kind of lame.
So like I said, if I don't get the Russos, I'm not going to sweat it because I really do think somebody else would appreciate that more. You want to go ahead and move on to our main wants?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll start off with you again here.
So definitely to me, my number one want is probably the Walrus and the Carpenter, just because I'm really, really liking the Alice in Wonderland pops, the new series. They just look great. And I definitely want those, even though I wish they were a little different. Um, G.I. Joe, of course. I collect G.I. Joe. I like this one. Um, the Mouseketeer, gotta have that one. Really great. Small World Mexico. The Homer. So the Homer is actually in my video. I thought it was from one of the very old episodes where Homer's like at a bachelor party and is dancing with a belly dancer slash stripper. But it's actually somebody told me it's from the Treehouse of Horror. Which is kind of weird because when I see glams of this one, he's in a regular Simpsons box. So I don't know if, I mean, I try like the subscribers that told me this, I know that they're right. I'm like, they're usually pretty right about that stuff. And I guess this is from Treehouse of Horror, and this is what Homer was dressed up as, for like a Halloween kind of episode or whatever. But the box looks like it's in a regular Simpsons box. So that it's kind of lame. I wish it was in a Treehouse of Horror pop because I think Homer dressed up as a belly dancer is pretty horrific, to be honest. The Rocketeer, I want, but I do have some issues with it. Like, you know the Boba Fett pop that has the flame coming out of the jetpack?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what they should have done with this. Like, I don't know why they didn't do that. I imagine he's wearing the jetpack, and I imagine that there's a little bit of flame coming out of the back. I hope so.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, they really should have put the stand be flames because they did that with Boba Fett. And if you look at Boba Fett in the movies, there's not that much flame that comes out of the backpack. Maybe in the prequels, but like the original Boba Fett didn't have, this big streak of fire coming out. The Rocketeer does. So to me, that should have been flames, maybe some smoke as the stand. So to me, that's a little bit lazy. And I'm pretty sure, like 100% sure, that if this Rocketeer was a common, big shelf warmer. But I still want it because of the character. These are my top ones.
I think the big flame effect would make it look more legit. Like right now, it looks like the Rocketeer on Broadway, like he's being held up with strings or something. So yeah, the flame effect would really set that one off. With the Homer one, I don't know, maybe it's because the other Treehouse of Horror pops are very horror focused, and maybe that's why they decided not to go that route with it. But who knows how they end up making that decision there. I think it will probably do well. I don't know if it will like sell out instantly, especially being at GameStop. GameStop, a lot of their con exclusives tend to be actually overstocked. Like I can go get some past convention exclusives right now at pretty much any GameStop in my area, So it's going to be interesting to see though how well that Homer actually does. But I think there are some Simpson completionists out there, at least for the newer Simpsons pops, not the vaulted ones, the vaulted original set. So we'll see how that does, basically. Now, as far as my main wants are concerned, I think it should be pretty easy to get these. You kind of talked about it in one of your videos, how about Walgreens being kind of weird with their drops. So that's probably going to be a little aggravating. Yeah, that's going to be a little aggravating because, that did happen with their last exclusive, how it ended up moving to Box Lunch, right?
Yeah, Box Lunch like a month later, and they had a ton of them. And like, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's still available on their website now. I haven't checked recently, but I remember it was available for a long time in store, a long time on the website, just because it was released like, I want to say weeks afterwards. Like, weeks afterwards,
it was a good while.
When everybody, had already probably spent all their money and the excitement had died way down. But yeah, it's kind of weird that the Walgreens is getting another one because I want to know what happened with that. Like,
did you actually send me that one? It was the Spider-Man, the updated Spider-Man 2099, right?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did because that shows how easy it was to get because that was a while later. Yeah, so as long as Blade drops, I'm good with it. I know you mentioned too about the two swords there. I think they probably did that mainly just because it looks cool. I don't know like if I've ever seen Blade with multiple swords, but yeah, it's a cool look though. I do like that, and it just reminds me so much of Wesley Snipes. I think it is based more so on the original comic design, or not the way back original comic design, because it'd be actually interesting though if they actually did that. The real old school Blade. I actually would go for that, but I guess I would say more so like the 90s design of Blade. So yeah, I like that one.
It could be from one of the sequels too. He used two swords. Like I don't remember the sequels as much. I remember the second one was pretty good. The third one was pretty terrible, I thought. But
I don't think this would be based on the movie though. I'd be very surprised.
I saw Funko tweet because I think it is based on the movie, this one. But because if you look at his outfit, I guess, it looks like the one from the movie, and that does look like Wesley Snipes' hair. And then Funko tweeted before he was announced, they actually tweeted a GIF of actually Wesley Snipes from the movie.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
yeah, I
I'm
guess we'll
guessing it
see
is.
about that.
Who
But
knows? Yeah.
it's kind of surprising because I mean, you know, there's a new Blade on the way, played by Mahershala Ali, which I'm really looking forward to that.
Perfect casting.
But yeah, if this is actually meant to be Wesley Snipes, cool. You know, if it's just based on the like '90s version, cool. Either way, I'm happy with it. You know, I'm glad that Blade is getting some attention because it really used to irk me for a while that people would be like, oh, the X-Men movie kicked off this comic book movie renaissance. Like, no, it didn't. Blade did. Like, you know, you got to acknowledge Blade that really made this happen. Capwolf, I know that's a maybe for you. Amazon definitely can be weird with conventions. What they've been doing the last couple of conventions is like you'll have these early links where you don't even see the figure. It's just like an early pre-order link. So some people get those and then they, you know, the pre-orders may sell out and then it comes back later on and it actually has the image of the pop-up and whatnot. But I would say in the long run, it's really not worth the distress Amazon because they do some restocks as well. So I think I'll get Catwolf one way or the other.
What still cracks me up about the last con, I forget, I think it was the 2-pack, the Twins 2-pack from WandaVision that everybody wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And they put, first of all, they sold them off early, right? And then the website would say that it was available, but there was a limit of 0. And of course, it pissed everybody off. And I don't know why. I think that's just funny.
That it's annoying when they do that. Like, I was annoyed, and I almost hate to even put salt in this wound because I know you did a video on this as well. But with the Blacklight Alice in Wonderland, it was still letting people add to the cart even though they were sold out. That is pretty aggravating when websites do things like that. You know, no fun at all.
Yeah, it is annoying.
Yeah, the Falcon here, I don't get the comic book reference either. Did any of your viewers actually share that reference with you?
Yeah, so I think that is his most modern. So I get, they said after he, yeah, I love how knowledgeable my subscribers are. Thank you. You guys, you know, all the stuff I don't know, you guys let me know. But I guess after he stopped being the new Captain America and he went back to just being the Falcon, this is his comic book outfit, yeah, or uniform or whatever, armor.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, and I actually, you know, it had been rumored that it was going to be him in the Captain America outfit with the wings folded, like where he's shielding himself up, which I know they can do that because they did a similar design with Wonder Woman in the gold armor. But I actually think this is cooler than that. You know, it still would be awesome if they did that. I mean, I would go for it, but I actually really like the black and red here. I think it's a really good design.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Yeah, and he's going to be easy to get. I don't really stress over Target. At least Targets in my area tend to be pretty well stocked, and online, you know, he might be all right online. The website actually can be tougher for me. It's easier to go in store. Actually, hopefully Target actually gets theirs in stores because there have been a few times where it was online only. But lately it seems like they're back to pretty much putting everything available in stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Prince Adam soda. It could go fast. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think that's the more popular soda out of this convention, though. So, not gonna stress that too much. I think I can actually find that in store possibly. And Batman with Scythe, with Entertainment Earth, I think that's gonna be pretty easy to get as well. And I hear people screaming out, "Where is the Drowned?" I know people want to complete that Dark Knight's metal set. I would like to complete it too, but you know, we just got to be patient. Who knows? Maybe that will come along for the fall convention, or actually it would make a lot of sense for the spring convention since the Drowned does wear like a green looking outfit. So yeah, that would make a lot of sense there. I think it'll happen eventually, especially with so many people screaming at Funko and they apparently have the right. So I think that'll happen eventually. But yeah, those are my main wants from this convention.
So overall, less must-have wants than other conventions, right?
Yeah, this convention, I guess towards the end we could talk about how we feel about the convention.
Okay.
Overall, you know, but yeah, as far as my main wants, I mean, it's just what I have 5 here. Yeah, that's actually kind of low for me. But yeah, we'll get into the long shots, which I'll let you go first. I don't want to say too much right now, but a little bit frustrated with some of that, but we'll get into it Though.
Obviously, I really want all of these pops, but they're long shots to me because I feel like that black light white rabbit, some will get to the general public on the 5th, but I feel like it's going to go really fast. It's going to be the first one to go. Scooter, of course, I think it's limited to 1,500. So, all of a sudden you're going to have all these new Tokidoki fans that are lottery winners buying that guy up. The Toy Tokyo bundle. At first, I was pretty confident I was going to be able to get it because I was like, there's 2 Tokidoki pops in it. Good. I know that a lot of these fans aren't big about Tokidoki, and I think there's not a lot of crossover with other fandoms in Tokidoki. I think it's one of those ones that it's mostly people that aren't really pop collectors probably getting those. But then I saw that there's going to be 2 Masters of the Universe pops, and they both look pretty cool, very different than the other ones we've had. So I was like, oh crap. All of a sudden this became a lot harder to get. And they're also getting the web store soda. So I was like, okay, now this bundle became hard to get. Toy Tokyo is unpredictable about when they even put it up. So it's definitely become a long shot for me.
Yeah, and because they tend to bundle, I guess that's why I didn't even worry so much about thinking about that soda, with the glow in the dark chase, because more than likely they're going to bundle. That's the way that they tend to do. It's going to be interesting though, because if they do bundle and people go for it, some people may either want Tokidoki or they may want Master of the Universe. They may not want both. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects things, in terms of the second market for these.
So that's a saving grace. So I feel like, I think most collectors that are like hardcore about being on the site when it releases, not to say that Tokidoki fans are slow or noobs or whatever, but compared to, I think, the type of fan that wants the Masters of the Universe ones, they're going to be a little slower. And I think the Masters of the Universe fans are going to be the ones that are on top of it. So I do feel like both of these Tokidoki pops, especially the Sandy, is going to be pretty cheap on the secondhand market.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think you're right about it being a good thing, because I think there are some completionists that there are going to be some completionists with Tokidoki, and really that line is still relatively new for Funko. There's not a whole lot of figures just yet, so it is possible to be a completionist to an extent, except for Scooter is the most difficult one. But somebody locks down the Scooter, they should be able to get the other ones as well.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because 1,500 pieces, to me, like, say if it was a Masters of the Universe one, at 1,500 pieces, instantly that's going to be $280, maybe $300 on the secondhand market almost instantly. But Scooter, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be kind of like, remember like a Goblin or whatever from the Gummy Bears show? That was extremely limited. What was like 1,000 pieces or 500 pieces, something very, very low.
Yeah, the value did not end up holding.
No, it was like $100. So to me,
and you know what? Even
I feel like that might happen.
Even with Black Lightning, remember, Black Lightning was a limited number, but he's not a hugely popular character. Like, so I've seen his value go down and down and down. Like right now, it's like $100 or $110, which is, that might sound decent to some people, but it's nothing compared to where people were trying to sell him at first. What value they were trying to put on him. So it still ultimately comes down. Yes. So yeah, it just depends. The character still matters. The popularity of the character still matters. It's not always about the number, basically.
And I'm not gonna lie, I think out of the 2 Unicornos, well, out of all 3 of the ones they've made, that Scooter is probably the lamest one, like design wise.
I agree. The Caramello looks awesome to me. Like it's not something I would collect, but yeah, I really like that design. What would you call this? Like Sugar Skull or whatever?
Yeah, Sugar Skull, Day of the Dead.
Yeah, so yeah, that design really stands out to me. I'm glad I'm not into the Tokidoki. I'll just say that, because I think that there's going to be a lot basically with that, and there might be some more along the way that might be a little bit tricky to get, but Yeah, yeah, we'll have to watch and see exactly how the value goes with that.
Yeah, and I love them just because like I love art vinyl toys, and Tokidoki has been around for a while, and they've always had some quality pieces. So to me, them making Tokidoki, it's kind of like if they would make all of a sudden 4-inch Dunnies that were kind of like if Funko decided to make a range of like 5 of the most popular Dunnies into Funko Pops. That's how I'm kind of seeing the Tokidoki ones to me. Kind of like the history of vinyl art toys. I think they're part of it, and it's kind of why I like them.
Yeah, and I bet a Tokidoki collection could look pretty cool just because I mean there's the pops now, but then there's all those other figures, the blind boxes and whatnot. If anybody's like me that likes to kind of mix different types of collectibles together, I think it really could have a very cool looking Tokidoki setup, basically.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if you took like especially like the Sandies, if you took them out of the box, showed it to a Tokidoki fan, they might not even realize it's a pop right away. It does
Yeah,
look very
true.
close to the originals.
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of
absolutely.
like the Trolls, like how the Trolls look like the original Trolls.
Yeah. hmm Getting into my long shots here, so my number has seemed small so far, but there's a couple of long shots that I'm interested in. Galactus, which I did not realize initially that Galactus is limited in number, but which I'm still not going to stress it too much because the price may scare away some people. I feel like he would go for probably $40, especially with this being a con. So, like I said, maybe that'll scare away some folks, and who knows, maybe I'll luck up and get into the lottery. We'll see about that.
See, and I think he's
Um,
going to be more. I think he's going to be closer to 50, maybe even 60,
yeah, it
because
could be.
doesn't Funko usually pump up the prices on the con exclusives? Because isn't
Yeah.
a regular jumbo size pop like $40?
Yeah, true. So he could be 50. As a matter of fact, you're right because the Beast Man or whatever, from Master of the Universe, he I think started off at 50.
Yeah,
And,
see,
and I
so
want to say the
that's
same thing for the zombie thing as well. I think they started at 50.
that's a big hit.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully that'll scare some people away basically. Um
That's
as
wishful
far
thinking, man.
yeah, hey, just being real. The Kaboom soda, I put that as a long shot because I really would like to have it. I'm not gonna be like, weeping into my pillow if I miss out on it. I do think it's cool though, and I
Sure.
think that the chase looks pretty cool as well. The main reason I like it though is actually because of Kill Bill. Like because whenever I see Kaboom, I think back to Kill Bill, the scene with Vivica Fox.
Or is there Kaboom cereal in that?
Yeah, remember the when she had the gun in the cereal box? It was Kaboom cereal.
Oh, I never paid attention to the cereal. That's kind
Come
of
on,
cool.
man. You missed the pun. Like that's the joke. That the gun is in the
Shit.
kaboom box.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Damn, I have to pay more
Yeah,
attention to that.
yeah. So like I said, I don't even really think
That's
about it so
cool.
much as the cereals. It's just to me it's like a Kill Bill reference. And I think both versions of it look pretty cool too. I'd be happier actually probably with the non-chase. I think the non-chase actually looks a little bit better. I
Yeah,
definitely like the Thor soda as well as, and with the Thor I would want the chase because the black light colors look so good
yeah.
on that figure. Um, the DC Imperial Martian Manhunter, I'm calling him a long shot just because he is on Funko.com, and you never know. I think there might be some people that are trying to complete that set, and if I don't get into the lottery, like I don't know for sure if he's still going to be there or not. So I don't know. It's very tricky to figure out whether or not he would be there, but that's why I'm considering him a long shot, just because he is on Funko.com. And like I said, DC Imperial being something that's still kind of fresh, some people are into it, so you never know.
See,
Um,
and I think the opposite of you. I think the Imperial ones are gonna be the constellation prices.
and well, that could be the case too as well, but it's about getting there on time though still. So yeah,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying, but yeah, that still means that it could be a slim chance to get it though if
true.
people beat me to the punch. The Harley Quinn soda is actually with Hot Topic. I think I'll be able to get it, but I really want the chase too, so that's why I'm looking at it as a long shot because I know so many people are going to go for that, and that's why I feel like the chase would be a little bit tough.
And what does
To
Hot Topic still let you get 5 convention exclusives? I know before in years past they let you get 5 of each.
I think it's a store by store thing. Unless things have changed, it seems like in the past, stores have kind of figured things out for themselves. But I don't know if that's like across all of the stores. I think there are some limits regardless of what store you go to, which location you go to. But yeah, I don't know exactly what they're going to do this time.
But even online, I think online they let you get, I want to say last convention, you could add two. I want to say two of each to your cart. So there's 18,000 of those Harley Quinn sodas, but imagine
They're
a
going to
lot
go
of people are,
fast though.
yeah, a lot of people are going to add two or the most that they can to get that chase. So yeah, it's going to be tricky. I think that's going to be from Hot Topic. I think Harley Quinn and the Gang Orca are going to go within 4 or 5 minutes.
And I'll talk some more about this because this does kind of relate. Towards the end, I want us to talk about some advice maybe for that might help out, especially new collectors, especially if this is one of their first conventions or their very first convention. We'll get to that. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. I will say I'm kind of glad that Gang Orca is there. That's a big one. So a lot of people might be focused on that, right away. I think there are going to be some people like me though that go directly for that Harley Quinn soda. So we'll see how that pans out. One thing I will say though, Hot Topic's website has been way more solid than most other websites. Even when they're really busy, it's a lot easier to check out with them than most other websites.
And they get a nice healthy stock too.
Yeah, absolutely. That diecast classic Captain America, I just feel like, especially because this is something new for Funko, that a lot of people are going to go for that. The pop itself is just okay, but I think it's the fact that it's diecast. It might be in that clear box as well. It's something new. So like I said, I feel like a lot of people may actually go for that one.
I hope it doesn't have. I have a feeling it's going to have a plastic wrap around it, like the art series pops do, which not a big deal, but someone like me who likes to keep things pristine, mint condition, the plastic wrap around it, you want to take it off to appreciate, the figure.
Yeah, and to get rid of the glare. Yeah.
But then if you get rid of it, then you don't have a mint condition pop anymore.
Yeah, so it does.
Hopefully
oddly enough affect value.
That. It does.
Yeah, but I don't know if this one is going to be like the art series, because you notice that a lot of the art series pops, the value is not impressive. So I don't know what's going to happen with the die-cast long term. I actually don't even know if Funko is going to do more of these because, Funko has tried some different things and then we haven't really seen much follow up to them. Like even the lights and sound pops. I think people expected to see a lot more of those, and thus far, not really.
Well, I think they're gonna make at least one more die-cast because of that little. I don't know if it was like a leak or if Funko's like doing some kind of guerrilla marketing. But there is an image where you can see Iron Man on the side of the box. So I feel like we're probably going to see another diecast figure, probably for the New York Comic Con, and it's going to be Iron Man. And it would make sense even if they only make two, to make Iron Man and Captain America from Civil War.
And you mentioned Master of the Universe, and I'm like you. I'm in the same boat as you with the Toy Tokyo thing or whatever. I really want those Master of the Universe pops. I'm getting them one way or the other. I know I'm gonna find a way to get them one way or the other. I don't mind going for the bundle because I'm pretty sure that I can find somebody that's interested, and I can find a friend. I don't have to go like Mercari, eBay, anything like that. I can find a friend that's interested in those Tokidoki figures. So
I'm pretty sure if I miss out on the bundle, I'd definitely buy those off of you. This is interesting though, because this con, of course, it's different than other San Diego Comic Cons. I wouldn't be surprised if the number for all of the pieces across the board is lower than usual, because there isn't like a physical con going on, and the excitement level isn't as high, I think, as past years. So if Funko does decide to make just a little bit less of everything, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know, because it's tough to gauge the excitement, because I think a lot of people are being a little bit coy. Like some people are like, nothing for me, one or two. And then we know how it goes.
Yeah.
The con happens, and then FOMO, fear of missing out, and people are loading up those carts. So I think that's part of what's going on right now. People are feeling like there's not too much they're interested in, but once they're on those websites and it's right there in front of them, or they happen to find themselves at the store, then
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes, basically.
Well, like
Now,
I've done it myself, where I'm like, okay, there's like 4 things I want, and then come con day, I end up getting, like 15 things. I was like, God damn it! Well, I guess I went a little overboard, but yeah, it's like the excitement level hits, and then you see that stuff is still available, and you're like, you know what? Let me just add it. It
yeah.
happens.
And I don't want to really compare this convention to years any further back than last year, because that just wouldn't be fair. Because we know what the circumstances have been for like the past year and a half or so. But when I think about this one compared to last year didn't have it. It doesn't feel like it had a ton going on, but there were actually some heavy hitters last year. There were some really well designed figures, and there were a few in there that were highly sought after. So it's kind of tough to compare them though. Like, what do you think about this year compared to last year?
You know what? Now that I'm seeing them side by side, I kind of think this year's better. I think the FunCon is better than SDCC last year. Like, I mean, that's my immediate thoughts because I'm looking at, yeah, starting from the top here, the top row. I ended up getting that Vex from Critical Role just because I thought it was a cute witch. Like, I don't really know much about Critical Role. I just like, oh, that's a very cute little witch pop. I like that. The second row there, I didn't get any of that. I didn't get. So the third row, I did get the Masters of the Universe ones. And then I got Jack in a Box. Did I get Michael? I think I got Michelangelo, and that's about it. Like, I didn't get very much from last year. I think there's a couple missing here. But yeah, I'm actually thinking that there's some in this con that I definitely want more than anything there. Like the White Rabbit, I think, beats anything there. The Walrus and the Carpenter. I'm really liking the Tokidoki, like the Mexico Small World one. To me, that's going to be a sleeper. I think it might not sell out fast. There may be a lot of them, but I believe in the long run, that one's going to be worth a little bit of money. Like the Mouseketeer, I really like. Yeah, I'm thinking this con is actually, even though I said it was underwhelming, I think this is a little bit more solid than last year.
Yeah, and we know that Funk was definitely under some constraints last year. It's kind of obvious because the number of figures that were available last year was not around the normal number that you would expect. So, yeah, I think there's some positive things this year. I think with a lot of conventions, it's either Marvel is good or DC is good. I think this year they had some really solid entries for both Marvel and DC. I feel like if you're a fan of Marvel and or DC, you're going to find some things that you really like. I would probably say the weakest thing out of this convention. Oh, by the way, I think Disney is pretty solid as well. Like all around, I think anime there probably could have been a little bit more, and there were some things that were rumored that might be held up still because of current circumstances. Who knows? So I can understand if anime fans wanted a little bit more, but I gotta say the My Hero Academia ones are very cool though.
Yeah, they're new characters, which is something I like. It's not just the main character in a different pose.
Yeah, I feel like you got to give Funko some props for the variety here, except with Star Wars. I think Star Wars is probably one of the worst out of this convention. And then, there's one Harry Potter figure, and it's not super impressive either. So yeah, I can understand people that are fans of those things being a little bit disappointed here.
Dude, the Harry Potter one, it looks like he's doing something bad to himself a little bit. Not gonna lie. And then the Rey from Star Wars, to me, that is, I don't think it's the worst pop. Like, I think, there's some that aren't as, like, I aesthetically, I think the chicken nugget's freaking hideous, right? But that Rey pop, if somebody would have just showed me that, I wouldn't even think it's a new pop. It looks like so many other Reys they've done already. There's nothing to me that screams special about that at all. Maybe if they would have made, even though it's a really bad part of the movie, it looks terrible, it's dumb, when she was in like the robes, and she was supposed to be turning evil. If they would have done Rey with a double-bladed lightsaber or that switchblade lightsaber with the cloak, that would have been, I think, a little bit more appropriate for a con. It's a very small moment in Star Wars, but Star Wars does have a history of making figures out of 2-second moments in the movie, that to me would have screamed a little bit more con exclusive, like the evil Dark Ray. But this right here, that looks like just a very run of the mill.
Yeah, just another Ray. Like a lot of people are saying, it's just another Ray, basically.
Just another Ray. And it kind of reminds me of when they did the Aquaman for one of the cons. It was just Aquaman standing like without his shirt on. Like to me, that looked like the most common of common pops. Like
which was ridiculous because they had literally just done a way better Aquaman with him with the wave effect. Yeah, so it's weird when they do that, basically.
It's slapping a sticker on something that I think they know that the enthusiasm is dying down for. And I think they go, slap a sticker on it, put it in the con, so we can have a Star Wars thing in there, and maybe we can sell more of it.
Do you feel like there's anything that's like that would have satisfied Star Wars fans? Like what else do you think they could have done at this point right now to really make Star Wars fans happy? And I mean, in terms of just like the common pops that are coming out, I noticed they're focusing a lot on the concept ones, which those to me look very mixed. Some people seem to be into them, but I was actually thinking, I'm like, what else could they have done right now with Star Wars?
So I like the concept ones. I'm not collecting them just because, I know it's gonna, there's a lot of stuff, and some of them are kind of ugly, but as someone that really likes the Star Wars art books, like the concept art books, I've always loved reading those. Like I like to get the art books. Well, up until the new ones, I would get the art books for every movie, just because I like the whole process and what goes into the design, the decisions, what they were gonna do that didn't end up in the movie, stuff like that to me is very interesting. But as far as stuff that they could do for Star Wars fans, I'd have to think about that. Like off the top of my head, they've done so much already.
Thankfully, they didn't do another Baby Yoda because, boy,
yeah,
I would have heard about that so much in my comments. So at least they didn't do another Baby Yoda.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how much kids love that Baby Yoda. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. They keep making it because it sells, and I know like some collectors get sick of seeing them, but they keep making them because they do sell. But
look, if they want more Star Wars, TV shows and everything, they got to put up with Baby Yoda, because I know plenty of people, women included too. No, that came out really wrong. Plenty of people, women included. But what I mean is, people that aren't normally Star Wars fans, they all know Baby Yoda. Yeah. They don't know the Mandalorian, and they don't know, like, they may not even watch the Mandalorian, but they know Baby Yoda. And there's not all that many, like, this same person, they don't know Kylo Ren. They don't really know Rey. They don't know any of the new characters. They don't know who Finn is or Captain Phasma, but they know Baby Yoda. They don't even know that his name is Grogu, but they know Baby Yoda, and they know that he's cute. And they buy the stuff. They buy the plushies and stuff because it's just cute. So if you want more Star Wars crap, you got to put up with Baby Yoda.
Now, if they had done, I'm not saying that this should be a convention exclusive, but if they had done Luke with Baby Yoda, Star Wars fans would be cool. They would be pretty happy, and I would actually go for that. Like, I do have a small Mandalorian collection, so whenever that happens, because that's got to happen at some point, I'm going for that for sure. And that definitely would have been big for the convention.
That I would definitely get. You know what else I would get? Yeah, that's what I would get. Like Mandalorian stuff. I would get Ming-Na Wen's character. If they make her, I would get that. If they made Bill Burr's character with the little robotic arm coming out, I would definitely get that. That would be cool.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely more possibilities, and yeah. I think you've said it before in a video, and a lot of people have said it. Really, The Mandalorian kind of saved Star Wars, because the latest trilogy definitely has not done it for people in general. So yeah, Mandalorian is pretty big for them.
Yeah, it brought me back into Star Wars. Like, I really enjoy Mandalorian.
Something else I would say, as far as maybe what else they could have done with this convention. Now, I don't follow, because of my age, I guess. I don't follow like current Nickelodeon, but for a while we were kind of used to seeing things from Nickelodeon with conventions, and there's hype around Nickelodeon right now because there is a like a Smash Brothers style game that's going to be coming out this year, but it focuses on Nickelodeon characters. So if Funko could have fit something in here from Nickelodeon, that might have been cool, but we might see that later on. Maybe they will do something to kind of coincide with the release of that game.
Probably.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that not that I really collected them myself, but maybe they're finally exhausting their ideas for Hanna-Barbera, because the CEO is so into Hanna-Barbera. For a while we were seeing something from that with Air Free Convention, but
well, isn't Danger Mouse? Isn't Danger Mouse?
well, yeah, you're right, Danger Mouse, yeah. But it
what
used to be.
What surprises me is there's no Scott Pilgrim. That makes it. I think that's the first time in a while there's not one Scott Pilgrim item, which to me, as a traditionalist, right, makes it seem not like Summer Convention.
I wonder if they feel like they exhausted everything, because they have at this point. I think they've done all of the major characters from there. They may have, been able to figure out some variants, but I think they've done all the major characters at this point. They did I think they did all the Evil X's. I don't know, like, yeah, they even did some of the other supporting characters at this point.
Oh, but come on, what if they made Envy Adams in her actual performance outfit instead of the jacket, like her the actual like the pigtail hairstyle with the dress and the boots? That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I was just thinking too that Sex Bomb, they did have some costume changes too. At least one towards the end of the movie. So yeah, they maybe could do a little bit more out of that. Maybe I guess they are just giving it a breather though.
Maybe.
And in terms of fantasy things, fantasy slighted a little bit in terms of like Lord of the Rings and what else am I thinking of? Like Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones, I mean, I don't know if that would really.
No thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's not something to really worry about. But
maybe they can make a Game of Thrones gravestone.
Yeah, but I'm gonna stop myself, because at this point I feel like I'm nitpicking. I feel like overall it is a good mix. And some of the things that we're not seeing now, we probably will see in the near future. Like I talked about in my last video how there were some things that were rumored that didn't happen. We're gonna see a lot more, so it doesn't all have to be within one convention. They got to leave things for the future as well.
Hey, and we should be grateful, right? Like, if they would have put out 30 Fire Pops, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, you can only afford so much. Yeah. Like you were saying before, Galactus could be like $50 by himself. If you really got your heart set on that, the average person, you gotta realize that you gotta budget things. So, yeah, you have to be kind of picky. So, yeah, you don't want too much at one time.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this up, I just want to quickly, like I said, I alluded to this earlier, I want to give some quick advice, especially for people that are new to conventions. Let me go ahead and give, before I throw it to you, let me go ahead and give this one piece of big advice. Don't stress. Conventions are not worth stressing over. I see it every time there's a convention. People stress, they have that fear of missing out, and it's really not worth it, because a lot of these figures, the ones that are shared with retailers, a lot of times there's restocks, and it's not always guaranteed, but a lot of times it'll happen either weeks, months, or sometimes even like a year or two later, all of a sudden it's available again. So for the majority of the figures, I'm going to say don't stress. Just have your plan in mind of how you're going to try to get things, and you really should try to enjoy the convention. Just don't stress over it.
My advice would be, make sure that you practice entering your credit card number, maybe even cut and paste it into your notepad on your computer, so you can do that fast. Just have all that prepared. Maybe go to the Funko site. Maybe you don't have to buy anything, but put something in your cart, go all the way through the motions. Make sure your PayPal is working, your Amazon is working. Not saying that it's going to be available during the con, but definitely practice that stuff so you're not caught with your pants down the day of. You get everything in your cart, you're all excited, you go there, and all of a sudden PayPal's all like, re-enter your password. And if you don't have it memorized, now you're scrambling to find it, right? You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot like that. Make sure that you know that password in case you need to put it in. Same thing with Amazon. Yeah, and like you say, don't stress, because it's like stressing and worrying about stuff doesn't change the reality of it. It just affects you, and it makes you make mistakes, I guess. I know I'm sounding really serious. We're talking about collectibles and toys here, but yeah, definitely practice that. Have a good game plan. Like the websites, like say something pops up and it's Toy Tokyo and Hot Topic go up at the same time. Now, you're going to have to do some creative thinking, but if the pop that you want from Hot Topic isn't one of the super, super, super popular ones, like say all you want is the Sabu-chan Tokidoki from Hot Topic, that's not going to sell out in the first minute. It might. I don't want to, I'm just, this is my opinion, but I feel like that's not going to sell out right away. So if they both pop up and go live at the same time, do make the smart decision and go, you know what, let me go for that Toy Tokyo bundle first, and then I'll go to Hot Topic. So you don't miss out on something that is going to sell out maybe really fast. And then, you bought the stuff that's probably going to be on the website, maybe even more than a day. So definitely have a strategy, a game plan. If you're going to go out live, in the wild to hunt things, get there early. If the store opens at 9, don't expect there to get 10 minutes before and be in a good spot in line. Because maybe if it was 5 years ago, you could do that. But nowadays, a lot of people show up. A lot of people are there with multiple people to buy a lot of pops. So definitely have a game plan. Like, for example, if there's a Barnes & Noble, a Hot Topic, and a GameStop, first of all, decide which pops you want the most. And then decide what, go try to take a peek. A lot of times you can see what the stock is at each store. Like say I would leave Barnes & Noble towards the end because they're only getting the Harry Potter pop. And that one might be popular, but I don't see that one selling out faster than some of the stuff that GameStop and Hot Topic has. So definitely have a game plan before the day hits and don't just wing it. It would be my advice.
Yeah. Go for your main wants first and don't procrastinate either. Every year I see people commenting like, well, I figured I would wait until the afternoon and see what's available, and I can't believe everything was gone. Like, yeah, like Funko Pops go fast. They go really fast. If you've dealt with Funko.com, things go really fast. So you can't procrastinate and then act surprised later on. Like, go ahead and get what you want and make sure you go for what you want the most first, especially when it comes to Funko.com. Even for people that win the lottery, still, you might want to prioritize what you want first. Make sure you focus on that. And do keep this in mind, though, because I've had the experience. I did win the lottery one time. It was for the fall convention last year. And it's one time to shop on August 4th. It'll be one time to shop. So whatever you put in that cart and when you check out, that is it for that shopping session. And then maybe you could try to get something when the general public opens up. Like I made the mistake last year of I thought I had clicked on the Wonder Woman and it turns out I missed her. But luckily I was able to get her the next day. But that's not going to be the guarantee all the time, so make sure you do prioritize what you want and make sure when you click on it that you really have selected it. Don't make that mistake like I did because you might not get that second shot.
And if you lollygag around, if you don't, if you take your sweet time and everything, there's no manager to complain to. Nobody's going to listen to you whining. You can go whine on social media. We'll all have a laugh. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If you miss out, that's it. There's no real going back.
And along with that, nobody can collect for you. I see some people when they miss out on things, they get upset with people like me and other people on social media that are trying to help people. That does you no good. To lash out and be upset at people that are trying to help the community, that really does you no good. You got to be responsible for collecting yourself. Now, I will say along with that, if you don't have collecting friends that can help you during conventions like this that you can strategize with, you're not collecting properly, basically.
Oh, and another piece of advice, okay? Because I know a lot of you will have to be working. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of work for that day too.
Restroom break.
Something. Or oh man, so I have to make up something, right? But if you want to have a peaceful life, don't make your wife. I mean, if your wife understands, what's going on here, right? Maybe she can help you out, or your husband, or a daughter, or a cousin, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend. While I'm at work, babe, can you try to get these for me? But do explain that to them, how everything you have to do with a sense of urgency, the seriousness of it, right? Even though it's still stupid toys and everything. But my advice is, if you have somebody help you like that, and they weren't fast enough, or they weren't able to get anything for you, or something happened, or they refreshed at the wrong time because you didn't explain to them that once that thing says you're in line, don't hit refresh. It's up to you to explain to them correctly. Don't go getting upset with them, right? And ruining your life for a few days because now your wife or your husband is mad at you because you're upset that they weren't able to get you some toys. Definitely remember that it's still just a hobby. It's still just collecting little plastic toys. Don't get upset at somebody in your family for not being able to get the stuff for you while you were at work or school.
And I feel like what you just said, what phrase you just said needs to be on a T-shirt. Don't hit refresh. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Or back or anything.
Yeah, because what it will do with the Funko.com is it's basically going to start you over. So, they basically have like an online queue. So let's say, just hypothetically here, let's say that you were like the 500th person in that queue. You hit refresh, all of a sudden you're like number 2,000. So maybe don't do that. Do not hit refresh. Also, don't try multiple windows because that's not going to work. Just be patient when it comes down to it. And you might miss out on something, but still, that's your best chance. That first chance is better than hitting refresh and messing things up. Also, with some of the shared retailers, we know that can cause issues. I always go back to that year where it was, I believe, the Blue Chrome Batman, where people refreshed on Barnes and Nobles and ended up getting charged like multiple times. So don't hit refresh. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. And
let it think.
Yeah, and what I was saying before, I really do mean that it helps to have friends that are collectors, and I mean genuine friends. I feel like some people almost try to force friendship on people because they're really thinking, oh, this person might be able to help me with figures. That is not the way to do it. There are a lot of awesome people in this community that would be willing to help you, but it has to be genuine friendships that you build up, and then you can help each other out. Don't try to use people because it just causes issues in the long run more than anything.
Speaking of that, I still have a figure I need to send you out that I've been completely lagging on sending.
Dude, are you talking about a certain iron figure?
Yes.
He could have flown here himself by now.
No, I think that the day I went to Southern California for like, a week and a half, he got to me the day that I drove out. And then when I came back, I've been so busy catching up on everything. And then I've been making videos every day. And it's just, it keeps slipping my damn mind. But Monday.
Well, I keep it clean on my channel, so I'll cuss you out after we finish recording.
All right.
But if we I'm gonna say this and kind of throw it out to the listening audience, especially for people that have been collecting for a while. If you have any other advice that you think is going to help out new collectors, do make sure that you actually share it in the comments. And I will say this as well, for new collectors that may be listening, listening does help. It's funny that I had some people, and I know you had this happening too, some people are asking questions that are already being answered by people that are trying to help. So if you want to know what's going on, you do have to listen, and the people are going to try to help you, but you got to do your part and listen as well. Yeah, and also I'm sure some people may have done it on our previous videos, but if you also want to share here what you're going for, like what are your maybes, your main wants, your long shots, share that with us as well. We look forward to checking that out. And thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you all again real soon.
Later.